So, the stuff that brings all of this together, music. Let's not forget that the full title of The Birth of Tragedy is Birth of Tragedy from the Spirit of Music. From music, music and tragedy, Greeks and tragic music, Greeks and the artwork of pessimism, a race of men, well-fashioned, beautiful, envied, life-inspiring, like no other race hitherto, the Greeks, indeed. The Greeks were in need of tragedy, yeah, of art, wherefore, Greek art? There is one experience we've all felt. You're out in public and you see someone doing something you reckon is embarrassing. Ugh, attention seeker, you call them. But is that moral clarity or your cowardice? You're not disgusted by them. You're terrified of the part of you that wants to do exactly what they're doing. And not just a part. Your buried core is that act. But before that truth can sting, your ego rushes in to protect you. You put down the person so you don't have to confront the version of yourself that might have enjoyed being that free. With what astonishment must the Apollonian Greek have beheld him? With an astonishment which was all the greater the more it was mingled with the shuddering suspicion that all this was in reality not so very foreign to him. Yeah, that, like unto a veil, his Apollonian consciousness only hid this Dionysian world from his view. Why shuddering suspicion? Because the madness is not alien. If the structures imploded in on themselves, this is what you would be. We struggle with people who are uninhibited and truly joyful. And those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who couldn't hear the music. One point I want to make, and I really believe this wholeheartedly, is that not everything Dionysian is loud, flamboyant, and over the top. In his work, Dionysus, Myth and Cult, Walter Otto writes, "Madness dwells in the surge of clanging, shrieking, and pealing sounds. It dwells also in silence." We know that there was the noisy version of the female groupies that Dionysus had in his cult, the Maenads. They would be seized by rapture in the middle of the forest, yes, but they also froze like stone, eyes wide, rooted to the spot. Dionysus doesn't require volume or to be frantic necessarily. There is an earthquake underneath moments of stillness. Then, regarding music, we have to talk about the Rocky film's songs and soundtrack. Some of the most legendary pieces of music from the 70s and 80s. They feel primal, intense, and frenzied. My personal favorite is Hearts on Fire, because of the training montage that accompanies it. I mean, just look at some of these visuals. These songs are all highly Apollonian. The rarefying of the self, I will become better. The reason it's not Dionysian, and by the way, nor is it claiming to be, is because the music is emotional. It pumps you up as an individual, reinforcing your ego. For Nietzsche, true Dionysian music annihilates the individual. Once again, under the charm of the Dionysian, not only is the covenant between man and man again established, but also estranged, hostile, or subjugated nature again celebrates her reconciliation with her lost son, man. It's about the loss of the self. It's not about hype. Thanks to the Rocky movies, entire generations went into the gym to be like their latest hero. They wanted their suffering to mean something. They knew, deep down, that he who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. But what is it exactly that we're doing in the gym? Gym goers that are watching this will be well aware of how we feel when we don't go to the gym for a couple days. Is the irritability just to do with endorphins? Partially, for sure. But it's also the ritual of it, your daily dalliance with a controlled environment where the abyss is banished. Here, in this extremist danger of the will, art approaches as a saving and healing enchantress. She alone is able to transform these nauseating reflections on the awfulness or absurdity of existence into representations wherewith it is possible to live. These are the representations of the sublime as the artistic subjugation of the awful, and the comic as the artistic delivery from the nausea of the absurd. The satiric chorus of dithyramb is the saving deed of Greek art. The paroxysms described above spent their force in the intermediary world of these Dionysian followers. So when Nietzsche says art approaches as a saving and healing enchantress, what is he talking about? Well, we know that early period Nietzsche posited art as the necessary antidote to life and its harsh truths. In The Will to Power, he famously says, "We have art in order not to die of the truth." For those that aren't already aware, that book was actually published posthumously, but from The Birth of Tragedy itself and truer earlier Nietzsche, we have, "Lift up your hearts, my brethren, high, higher, and do not forget your legs. Lift up also your legs, ye good dancers, and better still if ye stand also on your heads." So at the start of his academic life, Nietzsche agreed with his then mentor Arthur Schopenhauer in his diagnosis of life. Raw existence is overwhelmingly terrifying. Encountering truth on its own is nauseating. Art is the spell that makes the otherwise nauseating bearable. The sublime or the comic. These are disguises that make horror livable. Apollo is the energy that allows for these disguises to be worn, or the force that transforms the horror into something palatable. We, as humans, need the Apollonian. We need to create meaning in our lives through illusion and art and elevation. Here, illusion is not being used condescendingly. They are load-bearing fictions, or Plato's noble lies. We are all human beings with various limitations. We have debilitations that bring our mood down. We compare ourselves to those around us, generally only picking out what's low in us and high in them. And when we're feeling good about ourselves, we scroll on Instagram and we see the highs that someone else has cherry-picked out of their lives for us to see, and finally feel down again. If we simply sat and groveled in our misery, we would be overwhelmed with grief. Dejected, we go to the gym to begin to rectify ourselves. Remember, the saving enchantress is whatever makes raw facts and data bearable to us. In this case, it's the putting on of the headphones and blasting the song Eye of the Tiger. We get psyched up.